This is a feature that we have heard and been requested for a very long time. So, as someone on the CS team, and also for introductions for anyone who's not met me, my name is Kim. I am one of the training and onboarding specialists here at My Customers. I am part of the customer success team that is post sales. So, I work with people throughout their lifetime of Map My Customers. And something that we've always heard or very, very long time is that, hey, when I go to add a company, I'm never going to fill out the website, or we don't have annual revenue numbers. Or is there information, can I move this information above that show all fields drop down? And for years, I had to look at people and say, there's not a way to do that just yet. And now there is. So I know we're talking features, but I am very excited about this feature. I'm going to look really quickly at the question here. Is there a way to customize fields? I have specific data need to upload. Absolutely. That is a great transition, Ed, into where we will start. We're going to look at both the web and the mobile version today. We're going to start on the web version and talk about the manage field section and some of the permissions that have been able to be more customized now in the new Forms and Fields release. We're also going to talk about layouts. That is the order of your fields on the add company or add activity form or any of the other objects. We're going to look at mobile and see how those changes impact your end users, impact your team members. This is something you'll set from an administrative level, and then it trickles down to everybody. We've already got good feedback that it's helping speed up time of logging activities and creating companies to remove out some of that fluff. And so that's kind of what we'll talk about today as well. And then we'll look at a few other changes, again, what it looks like from mobile. So coming over here, I'm going to go ahead and start on the web version. This is kind of where it all starts. And we will take a look at my customer success. This is our Harry Potter themed account. We are looking from Albus Dumbledore. He is our team admin. So again, only your team owner roles are going to be able to make these changes. If you are a manager or an end user, a team member that would like to give feedback to your team manager or team owner about different things that you would like to see, that will definitely help them. You are probably the one using it the most, so you kind of know what you'd like to see here. If you are the team owner, you can access this today by going into your gear symbol in the upper right corner. This is your settings, and you'll see some new sections here on the left-hand side. Previously, there was one section here called custom fields. There is now a section, it's been relabeled, but it is a similar idea and concept to that before, but it says manage fields. In the manage fields section, you are able to come in here and create those custom fields. So Ed, like you're looking to do, if there is not a standard Map My Customers field for it, like the name, like the street, the phone number, the website, we can see here, those are standard to our system. You say, well, I've got these very custom product lines that I'd like to list, or I've got different sales volumes, or I'd like to mark someone as a prospect versus an account. That is where your custom fields come into play. Here in the manage field section, because this account is already created and established, we can see different fields that I have already created. The company type, a description. And as I scroll through here, you can see all kinds of different types of fields that you might create. These are just examples. You are not limited to these, but year-to-date sales, account number, the lead status, products, the last year-to-date sales, all kinds of different values that you might look to capture on a company, on a person, on a deal, or on an activity. What you are looking to capture on a company is not going to be the same as what you look to capture on a contact or a person. Here you might find things like the title or their cell phone number. On a deal, you might capture products of interest, the date that this is expected to close, loss reasons, stages, funnels. On activities, you might capture individual pieces of information that you want to log at each interaction. Did you drop off a product or swag? Did you leave behind samples? Did you expense any money at lunch? And so we'll take a look at all of these different fields, especially when we move into the layouts. But to create a new field, you just go to that same section, that gear symbol, into our manage fields. And here you'll see this big blue add custom field option. Not a lot of changes here, but one major change that has occurred is the permissions around the individual fields. When you are creating a new field, you've got different options. Is this a free text? Is there an infinite option of information I might fill in here? Is this a large text, like a description? There's a lot of information I might capture. Numeric, monetary, is this a drop down, a single option, meaning there's only one selection ever? Or a multi-option, maybe I dropped off products and it was both a hat and a pen. Phone numbers, dates, all different types of fields that you might want to create, you can do so here. If I would like to create a new field, you just choose which type of field to create. Maybe I'm creating a new field called product dropdown or whatever other information I might want to capture on the company. When I come into the next steps, you're going to name your field and then you can list drop down options. If it is monetary, it is just going to offer a monetary section. If it is phone number, it's just going to list an area to put your phone number. But if I put here products of interest, if that is something I would like to capture, I can come in, give my options, product A or product B. And then in the final step, this is where there are some changes at this point. So anyone who has used Map My Customers before, likely you have those fields set up. Something that people have previously asked is, well, can I make this read only? I want my team members to be able to see information in the field, but they should not edit it. This is maybe something coming from an external system, like an account number, or this is just pieces of information like sales volumes that you are pushing in. You do not want a sales rep going in and saying, yep, this is actually $1 million when it's $100,000. So that is a scenario where you might want to make a certain field read only. You can now customize the permissions per field. So if I would like team members to be able to go in and view and also edit and add the products of interest, I can. If I would like them to be able to see the information in this field, but not touch it, it can be view only. Information can live in there that is just private to the team owners. Nobody else has access to it. Or you can specify by team and by role which access is given to specific users. So here I can see if I want the Gryffindor team to be able to interact with it different than Hufflepuff. If you've got a sales team and a service team, you can then share the permissions by team. When I go ahead and save this field, it will just get added into this manage fields section where I can see all of the different fields again that I've ever created. You can now backtrack and come in and say things like the account number. I've had that before and I never wanted people to edit that. All you need to do is come into this field access and change the appropriate permissions on the individual fields at this time. Any questions, any follow-ups there on anything around the fields themselves? Cool. Another change that did happen to this particular page. Previously, this page is where you marked a field as required. That functionality has now moved its way into the layouts section. What the layouts will allow you to do is customize the way it looks when you add a company, a person, a deal, or an activity. Right now, your default layout is going to be an existing form that mirrors what your old form looked like before the release went out. You are now able to come in here and edit this, customize, remove, add, reorder the different fields that are happening in your layout. In this default company layout, if I would like to make changes, When I go to add a company, maybe I look at this and say, we don't use groups, or I really need information about the account type higher to the top, or I don't even want to include information for my team to add files. This is the form that you get when you go to create a record. And now I can come in and change this and redefine this for myself. Looking into this default company layout, if I hit this edit button, I'm brought into a page that we have not seen before. This is a brand new page. The way you interact with this layout form is by taking items on the left side of the screen and dragging them into the center. So if I have information over here, like churn notes or Power BI link or products of interest that I would like to add into my form, I can take this item and drag it to the middle. It can then be dragged up and down on the form to relay out where it might be. When I come in to this layouts section, I can also remove things that I do not want. If I come in here and say, I do not attach files, that is just not something my team is going to be doing, I can hit this little trash can to remove it from the layout. The dividers can be used to categorize or group data. Sometimes people have information like year-to-date sales, last year's sales, last year-to-date sales, and different product sales that they maybe want to group together so they're kind of organized. You can use these little dividers as a means to kind of organize the information as you see fit. Here is also where you are going to work and mark things as required. If I know every time I create an activity, I need my team to indicate the account type. Is this a lead or is this an existing customer? I can again drag, drop, rearrange, remove things that are irrelevant, and also give it a little star when that particular field is required. Once I've created a form that I am happy with, I can preview this before saving it to see what this would look like when my team goes to use it. This account type of active, hold, inactive. As I scroll down, all the other fields there on the form. You can try to whittle this down to be very small and kind of only put the things that are very, very important. If you create a form that's very skinny, very narrow to the important pieces of information, but you would like users to be able to add additional fields, using this checkbox here at the top, you can permit users to add fields to the form on a one-off scenario. So when I go to add a company here, I can use this add field option to add any other fields that maybe was not included in the standard layout. If you would not like your team to be able to customize these at all, you can just deselect this check mark when you go to create your form. Once you're satisfied with the form you've created, you can go ahead and hit Save Layout, and this will now be implemented for your team. If you only have one layout, it is going to automatically push to all users on your team. So just something to note and keep in mind if you are actively customizing the forms while the team is in the field. Question there, and thank you, Justin, for taking the other one. Would HubSpot fields link automatically? Is there a lookup field in HubSpot or mapped so we do not have to manually type all of these? Great question, Daniel. Yes. If you have an integration, you'll notice on the left-hand side, there is an integrations option where this wizard is going to automatically let you pick and choose the fields from your CRM. There's different articles and videos, and we've actually done a workshop Wednesday on integrations before. So I think those are all on YouTube, Mary, correct me if I'm wrong. So if you want to find that one on YouTube, that actually walks through how to use the integration wizard, and that will create those fields. So right, you do not need to type out 20 or 30 fields.
And Kim, I'm actually not sure that if I am answering the question the right way, because it looks like it may just be responding back to you all as panelists. They've got a question about whether or not Map My Customers works for B2C businesses. And it definitely can. Map My Customers can work for B2C businesses. You would just need to add in the individual customer addresses into your Map My Customers account. So either via an integration with one of our CRMs or uploading a list. If there's questions about that, you can reach out to our support team, and we have documentation too. But as long as you have the addresses uploaded, then you could put them into MMC and use it in a B2C context instead of B2B.
Yes. And I know I'm focusing a lot in on the companies, but we most definitely have clients that do not use the company's portion at all. And they primarily focus on that people's object because they are just logging, like you said, kind of those consumer level people onto their map, and the companies and people behave the same way. We typically focus on the company's element, but it is the exact same mirrored relationship and kind of mirrored experience if you just use the people as well. One thing to note specifically on the forums and layouts section here is that the activities can carry customized types of forms if you have varying needs for different activity types. What that means is that if you are logging a visit into the Map My Customer system, you might need to capture information like swag dropped. But if you're logging a phone call, you did not drop any swag. You maybe want a call sentiment, left voicemail connected with decision maker, got stuck at the gatekeeper. Or maybe if you're logging a lunch, you want to capture the lunch expenses. The activities will let you create layouts that fall underneath the main layout and let you customize and specialize per activity type. When I open up my activity layout here, I'm going to see a very similar screen and experience to what I saw when I edited the company or the people or the deals. But I'll notice here on my activity layout, there is a special option to create a variant. The variant is created based on the different activity types. So if this is my primary form where I am filling out the name, the company, the person, maybe I like to move the notes a little bit higher because this is important for my team. Maybe I'd like to require the company so I can't create any activities without filling out that information. Or maybe I say this is good for my visits and my meetings, but I really need a special form for my lunches. When I come in here to create a variant, it asks which activity type you are creating a variant for. This here is our standard list. However, if you have custom activity types, you can create layouts for those as well. And when I come in and select the activity type that I would like to create a variant for, it will at the top let me know you're creating a lunch variant. It's going to copy your standard variant, and then you can make the adjustments here as needed. If in a lunch, I need to capture those lunch expenses and I mark that as required, or I just let it live right at the top of the page, this variant will show, this activity form will show when I log a lunch. If I log a call, if I log an email, if I log a meeting, I do not need to fill out this information. But when I log a lunch, the form is going to change. Are there any questions on any of the things we've seen here with the managing of fields, the new permissions on fields, the creations of layouts, the reordering, the removing, anything on layouts before we take a look at how this might impact your team or how it will impact your team when they are out in the field using the mobile app? The other thing I will highlight right before we move over to mobile is that you can create different layouts for different team members. If you have a sales team and a service team, if you have a West team and an East team that behave differently, if you've got an inside team and an outside team, the different ways that you might fill out information or log activities might not be the same. You can create as many layouts as you would like. You can then, in this used by section, determine which team have access and which teams use certain layouts. So it does not need to be one size fits all for everybody. If the sales team fills out information that is just different than the service team, you can account for that, and their team does not need to scroll through things that are just not relevant for them. With that, I am going to cut over to the mobile version. Going to share my mobile screen here. And we will take a look at what these changes look like from the mobile application. And Ed, to answer your question, just to be clear, can I take a spreadsheet of in-house data and upload that to the specific fields I've created? Correct. There is import information. If you are not integrating, you are able to upload a spreadsheet file. We have different templates, and you can also reach out to the support team for any additional assistance that you might need there. First things first, from the mobile app, the one thing to highlight here is the new version. So again, for any existing Map My Customers users, the new version of the app that you would like to be on is 5.0.8-Gauss. That is the version where you are going to get the ultimate optimized experience, where you're going to see the new fields, you are going to see the new updates. If you are on version 5.7 or 5.8.0 with no word, or the word is not Gauss, you still have one more update to do. So get yourself to this version, and you will then be able to use and utilize the new release updates. From the mobile app, just like when we go to add a company on web, we are now going to see the new form that was created when I go to add a new company. We will see that change I made where products of interest was a new field I've created, and I've added it into my form. I can come in here and type out and create a new company, and this is going to mirror that form that I made on the web version. When I come in here and fill out information, it is going to work just as it always has. Maybe I know there is a Taco Bell down the street that is a good fit for me. I'm going to just add that Taco Bell. That's not the one near me, but we'll leave that to be. And search up the address, the account type. Maybe this is active or inactive or whatever account type is relevant. Maybe I choose that this is product B. And when I go ahead and add this company into the system, apparently I've added a lot of Taco Bells. It says, hey, is this the same one? Nope. Create record. And I'm going to go ahead and create that account for myself. So it will flag if you have a lot with the same name. And apparently Taco Bell is often top of mind for me. When you create that new record, though, that is it. It is going to work like it has always worked before, but you are now able to dictate to your team what that form looks like, better customize that, remove any clutter, and really streamline their experience in adding records. Same thing goes for logging of activities. This form has changed a little bit. Here I am at the Gramercy Park Towers account. When I go ahead and check in, when I take my notes and bring up the activity form, this is that new form that I have customized and created for myself. The major change here is that the timestamp and date has been moved to the top of the screen. This section here has been locked at the top, but everything else is going to mirror the changes that I've made in my forms and fields section. If I've created different variants for calls or lunches or any other type of my custom activities, I will be able to see those forms from this mobile application. The other change that has occurred here, if I go ahead and log this activity, but create a follow-up, when I am using the date and timestamp, we've completely removed the concept of complete versus incomplete as something that you need to set for yourself. All you need to do is click into the change date and time section. You'll notice that right now, because the date and time is current, it says log activity at the bottom. However, if I change this as a to-do, as something for the future for tomorrow, it has now changed that text at the bottom to say schedule activity. We recognize that this is future dated and therefore incomplete. So we are being more smart and educated about the way that we're marking that completion status. I can go ahead and schedule this activity into the future. And now I have that activity that I've logged for today, anything that might be upcoming, and that visit that I have tomorrow as well. The last change I want to quickly highlight before letting everyone go here is the change to the pinned fields. Historically, people have looked at the pinned fields and said, this is great. This is very helpful for me to see important information without having to toggle over to the details. However, they were not interactable. If I opened up this account and said, oh, account versus lead, no, this is a lead. I still needed to go into the edit form, click that blue pencil, scroll down, find that field, and make that edit. With this new release, the pinned fields can now be customized and changed right from this section. Where it says unknown on account versus lead, if I click in, it gives me my options and I can fill that out right away. So for data capture purposes, it will be very helpful to now pin fields that you want the team updating and filling out, because all it takes is one click for them to fill that information out. So definitely, as an administrator, if you have not pinned fields yet, but you have information that you say, you know what, the team needs to capture this, definitely want to take a look at pinning those across the board for the users. With that, that is everything that I was looking to cover today. Are there any other questions? I know there's nothing in the chat, but feel free to raise your hand if you've got any questions, like to come off, but anything else that we can help answer today?
While we're waiting for questions, one thing I'll add, these tools are obviously designed to be very self-service, where you can make updates on your on the fly as you need to. But if you have questions or would like assistance, please do reach out to our customer support team. They're available via chat and email support, or for larger teams, if you can reach out to your customer success manager and be happy to set some time to run through this with you. We really feel like this opens up a lot of possibilities in terms of being able to really customize your MMC account in a way that makes it as easy as possible for your reps to do all the core responsibilities in the field. So we're really excited by that, and I think this, will be beneficial and make MMC even easier for your teams to use.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. No hands raised, no questions in the chat. So thank you. Oh, here we go. My team only door knocks. Can I set up routes for them on specific days?
So yes, routes can be set up for specific days. You set a date and time when you are building routes, and there is knowledge-based articles and videos on the routes themselves. So you can create routes for the future. You can create routes as an admin and share it with them as well.
Awesome. Ed, I hope that answered your question. You can sign up if you're looking for a team, Ed, go ahead and go to mapmycustomers.com and you can fill out the book a demo form there, and then we'll get you signed up for sales. If you're looking for just an individual account, you can go to the same website on the pricing page and just sign up for an individual account right there. Awesome. All right, thanks, guys. Have a great day, Kim and Justin. Kim, thanks so much for walking us through that. That was awesome. And we will see you guys at the next workshop Wednesday. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.